Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to the third and final instalment of the Matchday Ticket live coverage versus Fulham. It is your full-time show, and I say it's your full-time show. I truly mean it, guys. Everyone on this show is a Town fan. No Millwall, no Leeds, no indifference. Not here. This is your platform to have your say. So get involved. We want to see you in the chat section. Leave your comments on today's game. Can you review today's game in 3 words or less without using the word that is normally associated with pony? You know what? Because it wasn't a great game. Let's be brutally honest. But of course, you can also have your say live on the show, just like I'm doing here, and like Steve and Neil will be doing very shortly. Come on the show. Just ask for the link in the chat box, and I'll make sure you get it, and I'll make sure you are able to come on and have your say, your full-time show. So yes, sadly, or is it sadly, as the new gardener suggests, that's midweek clear, and you're absolutely spot on. So I'm going to be honest, as I said in my video on Twitter, that was absolutely rubbish, Steve. Absolutely rubbish.
I don't agree. I think it was all right. I mean, we lost, which isn't great, but we didn't disgrace ourselves, and they're a good side. So
that does my head in. We didn't disgrace ourselves. Like,
we played all right. There was a few stupid errors, but
did we have a shot on target?
No.
So did we play all right? I mean, self-respect intact, MW, I suppose. Nick Muller got it wrong. Neil, that was rubbish, right?
Yeah.
Finally, some sanity to be seen. So, Neil...
Mine, when you said we didn't have a shot, Edwards at the end there got a first shot on target.
My mistake. I fell asleep. Sorry. I was caught watching Corrie because, that was so much better than what I saw this evening. So let's talk us through that second half then, Neil. What didn't quite get going from Town's point of view?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Anything and everything, let's be honest. Let's be brutally honest. David Cornell, first and foremost, let's pick him out. We'll start from the back to the front. Great bit of goalkeeping. Eric Clacton.
Double saves.
Yeah, Eric Clacton still driving home. Keeper, I love that joke. It's never going to get old with me. Keeper played well. As you say, Neil, double saves. Talk to me about David Cornell. What did he do right for you tonight?
Well, like I say, that double save, the shot that they had from range, that he didn't spill, he actually kept hold of it, which is nice to see these days. Good long-range passing.
Yeah, long-range passing. Look.
I would say that would Holy normally go for more of a throw or pass to the defenders, and Cornell basically, he didn't do any of that. He just decided, right, I'm going to aim for the wingers.
Yeah, Steve?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he did all right tonight. There was not really a lot of chance for him keeping that goal out, but he didn't spill that shot, which is great. That double save was fantastic. I honestly thought that was going to be 2-0 then. Not when I messaged you. I thought that's it, 2-0. Oh, okay. 2 saves. Nice one.
You messaged me, didn't you? You said you lost your lunch.
Yeah, just a bit. But to be fair, he didn't have a bad game really. So
yeah. No, he didn't. Got some comments coming in. Adam, Town play well enough to nice to see Downs put some flying tackles in. We'll cover him very shortly. Bill, boring. We didn't put a team out to win. If we did, Wilder's plays on the bench. Lambert's lucky Dip starts again. Lee Brown, what do you expect against Premier League sides? And I've got Emerson Fairweather. Now that is done, can we focus on the real job at hand of trying to get out the league? And Johnny Duncan, I don't think we played okay. No, sorry, I actually think we played okay. How many shots on target do we normally get against League One opponents, Martin? Unwell. We have gone through league games probably without 1 or 2 on target. That is correct. I'm not right. You're not right. No one's right. No one's wrong. We're all entitled to our own opinions. And I want to hear from you. And this is your part of the show to try to tell us what you're thinking. I just wanted a little bit more from my side tonight. I wanted, yes, the odds are stacked against you. But even in a heavily weighted contest, boxing, for example, you get a jab in. You get something in that maybe, gets the fella rocking on his toes. At any point tonight, Neil, did Fulham look anything but in control?
Easy.
It was, wasn't it? I mean,
do you think Norwood actually gave us less up top than Hawkins did? Because I just saw him running around. He turned around and our team was playing so deep. They were just happy to let 4 or 5 of their players just punt it around to each other and, waited for him to attack. And like I say, Norwood would chase someone down. He'd turn around and there'd be no one anywhere near him. Like he was on a completely different game plan to everyone else.
Andrew, spot on. Bit like McCarthy days. I don't know, Steve, talk to me about James Norwood. He came on in that second half, obviously maybe lacking a bit of match fitness. Personally, I thought he added a lot more than Ollie Hawkins. How did you see things?
He's given him a few more games when he's sort of back up to match fitness, and he probably offer more. But I think I felt more comfortable having him up front than Ollie Hawkins. Maybe it's because we haven't seen Ollie Hawkins so much, but he didn't do a great deal tonight, but neither did Hawkins. So.
No. As games go for Hawkins, Neil, are you saying Hawkins was better than Norwood, or are you saying that Norwood just didn't offer what you would normally expect from James Norwood?
I just don't think the team as a whole was good enough to, because it comes down to, I was thinking, when we say Norwood needs at least a couple of chances to score a goal, this was going to be a one chance. If you score it, you're in for penalties. If you don't, then you lost it. And for me, was Norwood likely to get that one chance and score it if he had it? But to answer your question, though, I don't think either really gave us enough.
But I'm not relishing a year with that attack. I'm not going to lie. There was nothing today that made me hang my hat and say, I'm really pleased we've got these players at the club, or we brought them to the club in some cases. I'm trying to be a polite way of saying I wasn't very impressed with certain individual performances in a roundabout way. I just didn't see anything, Steve, from players at the top there, particularly. Armando Dobra is one of them, actually, come to think of it. He didn't make a claim. Many fans say, play Dobra, play Dobra, play Dobra. But yes, Premier League opposition, I get it. But then again, you've got to look at least a little bit of a player, haven't you?
Yeah, with Dobra, it was a good opportunity for him. Tough opponents, but a good opportunity for him to really stake a claim for that shirt. He may not have done that, but I think he was one of the better players on the side. It's good for him to get 90 minutes under his belt as well, because I thought he would be one of the first players off, to be honest. But yeah, there wasn't really a player on the pitch where I thought, he had a great game. They were all sort of just there.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of summing up that second half, don't you, Neil?
I'd say Edwards was okay.
Why?
And Downs, when he came on, Edwards was the only one that actually looked like he could get a good touch, take a man on, and could actually, he was crossing, even though not many of them were actually very good crosses. He was the only one really getting a cross in. As you say, Dobra down the other side, he wasn't able to do enough. He was nullified fairly easily.
Waters, JJK. Edwards going to be a star man for me this season. I think he's got a lot more to offer. Over on Facebook, Adam Norwood looked frustrated with the hoofballs we were sending in his direction. Yeah, we did lose a little bit of pattern of play when Norwood came on. Obviously, Waters
Hawkins held up the ball easier than Norwood did.
But his touch his touch today, I don't know if it's in general, was woeful. It would hit him and bounce about 4 foot away from him. It was like kicking a ball against the wall.
He did struggle.
I don't know. I didn't really see that as much.
Watch the game closely next time, Neil.
Steve, but there was that one that came down and he held the defender off and he got it under control. He then laid it off to Dobra or Edwards, whoever was out that side. And then there was the one over the far side that he got it under control.
Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I just expected a little bit too much. I don't know. Maybe I'm being like Matt Phillips tonight. Maybe I'm having a Matt Phillips moment. He had a meltdown after Arsenal under 21s. I'm not saying I'm the cruncher here, seeing better control from a baby elephant than Hawkins. I mean, I'm not having a meltdown. I'm just disappointed because we just didn't. We appeared powder puff. It was like, I think Andrew hit the nail on the head there. Really, it was like watching a McCarthy side. Now you expect the gulf is huge. It's much closer than it was on the McCarthy. but we've seen giant killings in the cup before, and you only get giant killings by going at teams. At any point of the game today, Steve, did you feel like we'd taken the handbrake off and kind of gone for it?
There was at no point in the game I thought we could actually make something of this, because they're getting themselves in a good position, and then 9 times out of 10 they'd pass it back, or they'd take too long, and they'd give Fulham a chance to get back in position again. If we caught them out, we didn't do anything with it. I think, what Mark was saying, Dazal looks probably one of the better ones on the team again today.
I don't know why he got subbed off. Was that just saving for our next match, for the league match, or?
I hope so, because you know what Ipswich Town's like. It's like, oh yeah, he just picks up a knock, and it turns out he's got like a shattered leg or something for the next game. But at no point today did I sort of think, oh yeah, we could have him here. It was
it was poor. Rob Davies, so poor. We never created a chance, never pressed, never wanted it. So easy to beat. Never have a way back from 1-0 down. Neil, has a 1-0 scoreline ever looked more like a mountain to climb than that one?
Well, I agree with some things, but I would say we were, especially when Downs came on, we were dogged. We got stuck in. I don't really see that we had done anything particularly wrong in that way of things, but we never, like you say, we never really went for the game.
No.
But then is it the gulf between the two teams looked absolutely huge. I'm almost on the side of here thinking, do we actually want to get out of League One? Because are we ever going to be good enough to compete with some of these teams?
Well, but you can't think like that for first and foremost. Because obviously, you never know what happens window to window.
I know what happens window to window, mine.
Yeah, so do we. I know. I can't afford a slander case in the libel courts. Don't say any more. Is today more of a sign, actually, of what we all knew all along? This club lacks quality. This club really lacks the cutting edge up the front. Steve.
If we had gone for this game, then basically it would be, as people pre-match said, you'd be looking at your 4-0s, 5-0s. Because we would have just been so exposed at the back.
There's a lot of potential with that team, but there's also some players who I think are never really going to cut it. I mean, Kenlock being one of them, Donasian being another one. A lot of potential talent, but
the simple passes out wide to them, and they just didn't even touch them, and they went off for throw-ins. It's like simple, basic stuff here, boys.
Kenlock getting caught out time and time again. Donasian, he did well to get rid of that ball in his own box as well, because he did make a mistake, and it was quite a chance for Fulham. He did well to rescue that, but the golfing class was obvious.
Yeah, but expected. And I keep coming back because I'm seeing comments coming through. And I'll just run through some.
Did Judge add anything for you? Because I didn't see anything decent from Judge when he came on.
No, he did not. No, Alan Judge didn't change the game at all for me. And that's a disappointment, right? Because he is a player of current international class. So for the stat before the game that I read out, Stewart Watson, you've got players like Donasian who came from Accrington, but Alan Judge is supposed to be one of your principal game changers. Did he change?
I'm not sure he's actually. If he ever does that once this season, I think I need to eat my hat, but I just can't see it. Has he just lost another yard of pace? And his touch, and that when you were on about, poor touches and things, I just remember the bit of head tennis, and then I don't know if he shinned it or what, but he just gave it straight to him. The first Fulham player that was next to him, he basically just said, here you go, have it. And I was just thinking, a man of your caliber, and that is what you gave us. It's just terrible.
Is that a sign of his is that a sign of his quality, Steve, at this current moment in time?
I think it's weird because a player like him should be tearing it up at League One. He's an international player. He's playing in the higher leagues. He should be fantastic, but he just doesn't seem to have it. And I don't know if that's a lack of game time or if there's an underlying thing, but he needs to be, when he's coming on as a sub, he needs to be changing the game, and it needs to be turning the tide back in Town's favour. He's one of the most experienced guys out there, and he just added nothing.
Yeah, definitely. A few more comments. We've got Mark Tuxford. I did show this one, but I kind of want to highlight it again for you, Neil. Edgeworth started in fine form. If we continue to play the 4-3-3, he's Mark's first pick out wide. Is he your first pick out wide?
Well, he did it last season as well when he was actually interested. He has these games where he's unstoppable. For League One, he's basically one of our best players we've got.
Moving as we got MW. Come on, 1-0 against a Premier League 11. We're an emerging team. Was that side an emerging side, or was that more
not for me,
Steve?
That should have emerged.
But
we should already have emerged
3 years ago. But I appreciate the comment. I mean, I agree with the two lads here. But I mean, more than welcome to have your say. Get involved in the chat or come online.
The thing is, the way we played, we almost accepted the 1-0. It was like, it's 1-0, and we're not actually interested in changing it otherwise.
I think Rob says it here. Never gambled, never threw bodies forward. We didn't want to go for a giant killing. We didn't want to go for a scalp. We didn't want to go for it. I'm going to bring Johnny in, Steve, just to drop you out a second. Johnny, welcome into the live stream, my friend. Rob Davies there, never gambled, never threw bodies forward, didn't want it. What's your feeling following today's 1-0 defeat?
2-0. That's you're being hopeful there. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear, my friend. Carry.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I don't know. I'm stuck on the fence with. I thought we played okay, and then I'm with you a little bit saying, well, actually, we could have done a little bit more because it was generally like a lot of our reserves in there, and I think what Lambert was doing was saying, look, we know we've got 1 or 2 injuries. You know, we're drilling, and you guys go out there and show me what you can give me and see if I can slip you in the team the weekend. Possibly. I don't know. But it didn't really do anything to stake claim. Dobber disappointed me a little bit. I think he was full of running, but I think he just he got tired in the end. Yeah. And he was just being muscled out of it by a lot more experienced players. And I think Enciala, again, for me, he showed signs of when he's confident, and he's really up for it, and obviously given the armband tonight, he thought, oh, well, I'm back in here. This is lovely. He goes to win the ball. He wants to win it. He wants to get to it first, 100%. And he gets caught more often than he should, wrong side of his marker. And that's when we're in the doo-doo. I mean, I think for the goal, I know it's Danasi, and it was jumping to try to get in front of Mitrovic to stop the goal, but it wasn't really his marker. He had to come off his wing-back to try and get the header in on Mitrovic, who Enciala should be marking. So he was off his man there. So I don't blame Danasian for that goal because it should have been Toto.
Yeah,
it should have been.
How did Ollie Hawkins play for you though, Johnny? Because obviously, big game for him today.
He played as well as a solo man up front, which is not getting much support. Can play. He got a few flick-ons. But at that time, Edwards was too deep to get forward onto them. He's obviously going to do more than what Norwood done because Norwood wasn't on the pitch long enough for me. And a lot of people say, well, Norwood, he just stood there. He didn't look interested. He was not running around. He was just standing there. But you don't know what they're being told, do you? You know, they're being so. Lambert said, get up there, hold your position. Do not come back into midfield. There's enough in midfield. Do not get pulled out wide or we'll have nothing in the middle. He's probably told to get up front, get in the middle and stay there.
Yeah. And
chase it when it comes near you. Don't go running for it. And that's what the lone striker should do. He should not move from that centre half that's marking him. He shouldn't move. Unless it's like in between 2 centre halves and making himself space. It's just a little bit of knowledge of the game. People go, well, he's not doing anything. The ball was like 2 meters away from him and he didn't run for it. Well, it's not his job to. It's the 5 heavy midfielders you got to go and to do that job. So I don't blame Norwood or Hawkins. I think Hawkins done all right, and he's not really played many minutes, so I'm not going to judge him at the moment. I think what we can take out tonight's game is the things that we definitely know and the positives out of it, if you can call it a positive. And it's definitely that we know that Ward is well ahead of Kenlock.
Yeah, well, that's definitely the case. And obviously, you say we can't judge. I've got a few comments here regarding Alan Judge. I've got Rob Davies, a wise man, once said Judge couldn't cross the Orwell Bridge. And then And then Eric Clacton, are we really in a position to judge? How do you judge Alan Judge's performance this evening, Johnny?
He didn't really have one, did he?
No, not particularly. Let's be honest. He didn't change the game the way we thought. You were
it's the frustrating thing. These are the players, these experienced players. They've been about. They've got the mouth about them. They've got plenty of chat on the field. They're quick to mouth down a young player when they don't pass the ball to them and they don't put it where they want it or where they point it. But when these guys come on, you expect them to grab the game by the balls and hike it up. And Judge, for me, I don't think he's done enough since he's been here. And I'm one of his biggest critics. I love the bloke. He's obviously very talented, but even the fans from Brentford, they said he's not been the same ever since his injury.
Yeah.
When Haim crocked him, and they said, he's a great player and we love him, but I hope he can kick on at your place. But he hasn't, has he?
No, he really hasn't. But another player who is in between the gaps of the squad, if you like, Steve. Mark raises it here. Well, where was El Mizani this evening?
Loan.
Yeah, he's going to go out on loan, isn't he? It would have been nice to see him with Dobra maybe as well. Both very, very good players. I can see Dobra staying maybe, but I think Mazzoni, he'll go out on loan.
Yeah, I think with McGavin. Yeah.
They're gonna struggle for game time this season. Realistically, the midfield's doing all right, so there's no place for. It's a shame, really. There's no place for them in the midfield right now.
Yeah, absolutely. A few comments on Facebook. I've got Lee Brown. I think Martin Lambert is ahead of Miles Kenlock. Cheers, Lee. I appreciate
Miles Kenlock.
I'm sure there's a compliment in there somewhere, Lee, but I appreciate it, my friend. Adam was frustrating watching Cornell launch the ball long when Dozel or Andre was calling for the ball short at all the time. Johnny, before you go on, we really appreciate you coming on, my friend. It's really good to have you on again. And obviously, last night, not a great performance for your guys. Stowe against Needham.
Tough team.
Yeah, really tough team. Ben Folkes, another good striker, young striker who run the game, didn't he?
Yeah, to 2 tiers above Stowe. And I know that's where we aspire to be, but they kind of showed the class difference there a little bit. But, never mind. Go for the league again.
Absolutely. Well, before you do go, who is scoring our goals this season? Do you sell Caden Jackson?
I said in the comments in the first half that, if we got 2 million or 2.5 million for Jackson, I'd sell him. I don't think people say he's pacey. I don't really think he shows that much pace. I actually think probably Edwards covers the grass just as fast as what Jackson does when he's on a run. If he's going to play the system with all the midfielders like he said he's going to, there's only got room for one. Is Jackson the sort of player that is going to be the one that's up front holding the ball up? We need a Murphy type player, I think. Don't want to rattle on about Murphy, and people they're probably hoping that Hawkins was going to be that. He's not. So if we can move Jackson on for a substantial amount of money, and then bring in a player like a Ward's experience up top, or a centre half cover, then I reckon we should use the wages for that.
Absolutely. Cheers, Johnny. Neil, what would you do? Who's scoring our goals?
Nolan at the moment.
Oh, behave. Pack it in. I'm not having that on our show.
Neil.
No, it's a genuine question from Cruncher. He's raised it. Who is scoring our goals? If Jackson's gone, because let's face it, we've played with that him already so far. You've got Drinnan, who for me couldn't hit a barn door with a machine gun. You've got Norwood. That's it.
I think
is
Norwood when he's really fit, and Edwards. Edwards will get a few this year. And of course, Kolskis, obviously.
No. What is adding to his one?
There's 2, and he's got steady on now.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Almost need 2 hands to count his goals.
Bill Old says, we let Harrison go and Hawkins couldn't get ahead of Harrison. And now we rely on Hawkins. John Fleming, Jackson's good for this league. Wide right would not sell.
Is Jackson being considered to go because Lambert doesn't actually consider he can do it on his own job, and he's not a Sears play out the left and cut in. he needs to be in, say, a 4-4-2 with Norwood or Hawkins, someone like that. And that's obviously not the way we're playing, or not looking like playing. So where does Jackson actually fit in our team?
I'll tell you where Jackson fits in our team. Up the front, and you know what you do as the manager when you've got a player like Caden Jackson, who's quite clearly good enough for League One, probably maybe slightly a cut above a lot of players in League One. You find a way to play him. You find a way to get him in that team, and Norwood and Edwards, all those exciting players. Alex Ferguson found a way to get Dwight York, Andy Cole, David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, the creme de la creme in the same side. He didn't say, well, you know, you can only play one because you've got to play Becks here and Scholes here and Nicky Butt here. And no, you found a way. And that's what Paul Lambert's paid to do, I'm afraid. I'm, you know, as Martin, you know, I'm his biggest fan. But
can I be afraid to tell you one thing?
Go for it.
Then players are good enough to pretty much play anywhere.
Hey, no. You've got to look at the stock you've got. Caden Jackson is good enough to play out wide left as an inside forward.
Basically, unlike how we play today, because Jackson would have been flapping his arms around. He would not have been interested today if he was there, because he would have chased people down. Nothing would have happened, and I don't know. What have we got to do? Have we got to push our team forward? Say, don't sit as deep as we did today. Do more of a press. Play higher up, more of a press.
But then a player like Jackson does that because Jackson's pace scares teams. It makes them drop 5 to 10 yards further deep. It does.
They always had 2-3 players on each one of our players. So you do that to Jackson, and the defence, you launch a ball up to him, as we always do, being an on the floor sort of player. We of course lump it long to him, and they'll just header it away.
Rob Davies, we appreciate you getting involved, my friend. Don't kid ourselves. Jackson goes, we will get at best a signing from way down. Keith Moore style, cheap, no way replacing the same standard. We have got a salary cap issue, as Sterling DGS points out. We sell Jackson. I don't see us reinvesting due to the wage cap, just profit for Evans. The wage cap's an interesting one, Steve, because it makes selling players such as Flynn Downs and Caden Jackson pointless because they're Flynn Downs' case, he doesn't count against the cap currently. He's not old enough. And Caden Jackson, you're not going to replace a player of his caliber with a player on his wages, which is what are currently counting against the cap. So, do you have to sell Caden Jackson, even with this whole 12 months with an option of a year? Because you've still got 2 years, effectively, or 2.5 windows to sell him. So, do you have to sell him? Do you absolutely have to?
I don't think you have to sell him. And like you say, he does go. We're not going to get a person who can get us the sort of goals that Jackson can. He works better with another striker alongside him. Him and Norwood worked really, really well together last year. And like you said, find a way to play him. There's formations out there where you can incorporate most of them anyway, or all of them. You don't have to play 4-4-3, whatever. You don't have to play 4-4-2. 4-3-3. Sorry, not 4-4-3.
We can do that if you like.
Yeah, just get an extra person. Why not?
No goalie.
No goalie. Don't need a goal. 4-4-2 for me is probably our best formation if you look at the personnel. The only person holding us back from that necessarily is maybe Alan Judge, because if you played a 4-4-2, you'd have Edwards on the right. Go for it.
We just don't play Alan Judge. Problem solved.
Well, this is what I was going to say to you. I mean, is that the only problem? I say problem. I mean, is that the only reason a 4-4-2 doesn't work at Town? Because you haven't really got an out-and-out pacey left winger the way you have on the right?
You got Lancaster.
You could play him right and Edwards left.
Yeah.
Isn't Edwards, does Edwards left anyway? Doesn't he prefer left?
Apparently so, but he can play both.
I've never seen him play that well left.
No, he came on Sunday on the right, didn't he?
He's right-footed, so he'd be an inside winger, wouldn't he?
Yeah. See, Mark's right. Arguably, you played a formation that suits the majority of your better players available. I mean, I know it wasn't quite this level, Neil, but I never cried about having Will and Ben and how do I fit them both. I just fitted them both in the team. You find a way. And for those at home that don't know, me and Neil used to play in the same team. I used to manage the team that Neil played in, and Will and Ben were 2 of my strikers. You just found a way, didn't we? We found a way to play our better players.
But didn't we just play 4-4-2?
Well, yeah, because
Well, then you've got two strikers, and you just. The problem is 4-4-2 seems an out of favour formation these days. They like the numbers in midfield, just nullify a game, job done.
fair enough. I mean, you can't argue with that. Have we got the two midfielders for a 4-4-2, Steve?
No.
I don't know. I mean, Dazelle could do it well, I reckon. Hughes, if Downs does go. When Downs does go, probably. I think we would have.
Is that Johnny? Is that Johnny that just came on? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
And now I'm putting two together. Anyway, Emerson Fairweather. Jackson would play instead of Judge for me. That's a fair shout. I think Jackson out wide on the left is good. I mean, I like Alan Judge. I think he can bring something to the table. I just prefer him behind a striker as opposed to
Jackson for me. If you put the ball over the top and you've got the defence running towards their own goal and they're panicking, that's when Jackson's good.
Yeah.
When you play the ball out wide to him and he's getting hounded by midfielders, defenders, and he's got to do that perfect touch out wide, he just doesn't. And has he got a cross? No. Just there's so many things that you would love him to play out there just so he's in the team, but he's just not good enough for that position.
Yeah, I mean Jackson's strength is his straight line speed, isn't it? It's the threat he poses to centre halves that are perhaps on the wrong side of their career, carrying an injury, maybe not quite as fast or have never been as fast. And there's always the threat in the back of their mind that makes them play 2 or 3 yards further deep than they have to, which then obviously springs off side traps. It brings other players in, and it pins opposition back because it makes them they can't come and stay right. Centre halves on the halfway line, 2 fullbacks further forward because they can't run that risk of Jackson getting in behind, can they?
No.
Which is what he brings. And pace is something we lack. So why would we want to sell our only real straight line speed player? It makes no sense. But we're going
so we can see the exhilarating football we did tonight.
Waters, Tyree Simpson, top scorer for me. Well, on this current basis, mate, he could play one game, score 4 goals, and he'd already be top goal scorer because Drinnan's had 3 chances and got 1, and it goes on. Cruncher, agree with Neil. Judge shouldn't be in the team. Legs have gone. Ship him out. Yeah, but who's going to take him?
He's at that age now, isn't he? He's an older player. He's got an injury. No one's really going to take him. And if he does or whoever does take him, if anyone does take him, he won't get first team football.
How much would it cost to pay him off? Do you just pay their wages off?
You do. Cruncher.
So whether you pay off his wages now or let him stay here and pay his wages off, what's the difference? Same amount's going out. Just get him out of the way.
I mean, you don't have to play a 4-4-2. You can play a 3-5-2. And I know people will go, "Oh no, we played that last year," but you have got the numbers in the centre of defence to play a 3, which then you could play Edwards as a right winger, stroke wing back. Because in a 3, you're not asking him to defend a lot. You're just asking him to be a body that can cover. It keeps the 2 up front. I mean, I've got a picture upstairs of George Burley's Ipswich Town playing 3-5-2. Venus, Mowbray, McGrill, 3 defenders. Clapham, left wing back. You had Gary Croft or Fabian at right wing back. There are formations in the playbook, as I'm sure Daniel, being a great manager himself, will tell you. It's not just 4-4-2, but I do agree with MW's point here. This is why I bring that up. That 4-4-2 perhaps wouldn't work at our club because we don't have the midfielders for it. We don't have the Holland and Majilton. We have well, I'm not going to say names. We just have people. Which is a fair point. Sharon Guest, welcome to the live stream. To do well in League One, we have to score at least 70 goals. Luton scored 90. Sharon, you just depressed me. We can't score 7 at this point, let alone 70. Can you? Where do you see 70 goals coming from, guys? If you think both strikers score 10,
Freddie Sears,
that leaves 50 goals, right? From elsewhere in the team. No, I think it's a very good point, Sharon. I really love that you brought it up. If you've got, let's say Hawkins scores 10 and Norwood scores 10, that's 50 goals you've got to find. Where in this team are you finding 50 goals?
You might find the odd one chips in from corners, set pieces, that sort of thing. Chambo is pretty good at popping up with a header every now and then. the likes of
Nolan.
Edwards. Bloody Nolan. Edwards, I think Sears possibly 1 or 2. If Drennan can shoot, maybe him. Sears free kicks. Just keep him away from free kicks.
Yes, you did tweet that, didn't you?
Forever. Oh, it was
You did tweet
awful.
that. Yeah, well, I think Sharon's really highlighted the stark difficulty of this club, because she's right. Sharon is right. You have to score 70 goals. Luton scored 90. If you sell Jackson, you've got less chance of scoring.
But mine on the performance we saw tonight, I know most of League One isn't going to play quite the same way as what we saw from Fulham, but if you're going out and getting 1-0s here and there, why do you need 70 goals? You just need 1-0 wins all the way through. Job done.
Because remember we started the Talking Town podcast a year ago, me, you and Robbie Neal, and we sat there and we were saying the exact same things. We were winning 1-0, weren't playing well, but winning 1-0. Why do you need to score 70 goals? The issue happens when you suddenly start conceding goals, right, Steve? When you're not winning 1-0, you're drawing 1-1 because you can't get a second, which is arguably what our huge issue last year was, right?
Yeah, I remember thinking that when we were 1-0 up last time out. Obviously, Bishop put us ahead, and I was thinking, okay, it's getting a bit nervy. We need that killer second. Obviously, luckily, Edwards popped up.
But Obi had 2 chances before that, didn't he?
Yeah. So that's one thing that Town seems to struggle with, is getting that killer second and finishing off the game. You know, if we 1-0, I think the commentator said it, 1-0 is a nervy scoreline.
It's a horrible scoreline.
It really is. I hate being 1-0. I mean, I don't really being 1-0 down, but I hate being 1-0 up, because one goal can change everything. And they need to find that killer second.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're done for this evening. I've really enjoyed both of your companies, guys and girls, everybody. Let us know on Twitter at HDR Martin, at Neil Moles, Steve, at Steve65462. Let us know where you see those 50-odd goals coming from. And I will drop the best ones in the podcast on Sunday. This Sunday, 1:30, Talking Town with myself, the Cruncher, and the media mogul Matt Phillips, who had a beer at halftime and hasn't been seen since. So how many he's got through now, we just do not know. Fox in the box, up yawns. Oh, Foxy, I love you, but not now. But yeah, so let us know where those 50 goals are coming from, because I can't see it, Steve can't see it, and as someone on Facebook that said, Neil, wake up, mate. No, I think he meant your opinion was wrong. But there we go, we're done. Any final words before we?
What on Nolan? Nolan's getting all the goals.
I ignored that. Do you see how I expertly ignored that? Just like let that wash.
I couldn't.
Just that wash.
That's because it's a brilliant joke, because it's not going to happen.
Nolan is likely to score goals as skews.
Yeah.
Tell you what, if Nolan scores double figures this year, I will do something mad. All right. I will open this. No, honestly, if Nolan scores in league, this is in the league. If Nolan scores double figures, I will open it up to the guys that have subscribed to the YouTube channel to set a forfeit, and I'll just do it. But I'm not getting me tackle out, because 9 foot of is not a good look.
Not everyone has a magnifying glass.
On that bombshell, we are done and we are dusted. For now, I don't know what to say anymore. See you later, guys.